Welcome to my Elta presentation. When I think of innovation, I think of the word new. A new idea or experience, something that hasn't been done before. And when discussing innovation for education, Theodore Levitt sums this up perfectly. Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things. And by doing is how we learn, as the teacher and as the student. So how can we bring innovation into the classroom? Susie Boss illustrates this point in her book, Bringing Innovation to School. She said, the first step in teaching students to innovate is making sure that educators have opportunities to be innovators themselves. So by trying and testing different innovative technologies, I have been able to design my own collaborative learning resource that I feel reflects both the students' and teachers' development and allows greater digital engagement by interacting with these different technologies that have been embedded into one platform. The innovative approach that I used was the blended learning approach and the adaptive teaching approach. The blended learning approach is important as it allows for synchronous and asynchronous learning to occur. Some of the learning can be done in the face-to-face classroom environment with the whole class present for lectures, discussions and presentations. But the asynchronous learning is also applicable here as students have the flexibility to access the learning materials anywhere, anytime. This can be achieved through a flipped classroom, giving students and teachers the freedom of rotating between traditional classroom teaching and online learning. Sharple's 2014 pedagogy report outlines this process, where the classroom becomes a space for dynamic interactive learning, where the teacher guides students to apply concepts they have learnt online. The adaptive teaching approach is also important as it caters to all learners by allowing them to do the learning at their own pace. The key areas of focus were to increase motivation and engagement. This method of learning and teaching is a great motivator for harder to reach learners as it increases their engagement inside and outside the classroom through its collaborative and cooperative learning methods. Students will become more enthusiastic and motivated through this flexible model of learning, especially lessons that involve participating in online quizzes using portable technologies including bring your own device. The learning resource creates autonomous independent learners by allowing them to become more self-directing. This is achieved through the scaffolding method of teaching, adapted from Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, whereby the teacher guides the student through instructional tasks to promote learning, and this support is then gradually removed as the student's cognitive and social skills are developed and they are able to independently problem solve. The learning resource is very student-centered, and the activities constructed will help develop the depth of learning through the range of visual and multimodal learning created. It gives students the time needed to reflect and think about what they are doing, focusing on their experiential learning by allowing them to explore what is relevant to them as the learner and how to process this information cognitively. Evidence of using innovative technology to enhance learning and teaching in further education is illustrated in Feldhag's 2014 report, which states, learning technology can improve FE learners' chances and successfully influence what students do to learn, so that every student can reach their learning potential. So who are the learners? The students using this resource are Level 3 learners studying for their A-Level Media Studies qualification. The resource would be a platform to support the entire unit being studied, which is investigating the media, and the topic area being taught is media, language and advertising. The aim is to enhance the learner's knowledge of media, language and advertising. The objectives: to develop knowledge of media, language, codes and conventions used in print media, to critically analyse the different print media formats of advertising, and to collaboratively create print media adverts that will be presented back to the class for peer evaluation. So what is Edmodo? Edmodo is an online learning platform that reinforces and enhances learning and teaching beyond the classroom in a controlled, safe environment. Teachers and students can access, connect and collaborate with this tool anytime, anywhere. And with a similar design to Facebook, students can get a sense of familiarity and navigate their way around this networking platform with ease. So let's take a look in more detail. You can access Edmodo by logging onto the website or via the app, meaning that connectivity is accessible 24/7, no matter what time, location or device you're using. The teacher has complete control to create their own digital classroom and invite their students to connect. For my students, I set up an AS Media class, which would contain all the information for the unit being taught. The students would be given an introduction to Edmodo prior to using it for the first time. They would all create an account and use the access code given to join the AS Media class. They would then have the opportunity to explore the different features and get an understanding and appreciation of how Edmodo works. So here students can access a variety of learning materials. They can go into folders and they have all the PowerPoints, quizzes, links, all under one platform. They also have been set assignments, and if they go into their calendar, they will see when these assignments are due. For the learning resource, I created 3 learning activities, and each one had a task or assignment linked to it. Activity 1 was the PowerPoint, which has all the prior learning. This teaching would be done in the classroom to teach the techniques, codes and conventions of media language, and then following on from this, the students would then complete a quiz to test their understanding of the PowerPoint. This was conducted using Bloom's taxonomy, and the questions went from lower order thinking to higher order thinking, where they'd have to use more analysis and critical thinking. The teacher is then able to assess the level of learning and understanding achieved by each student. As the teacher, I could then give feedback and assistance to those with lower level of learning and focus my teaching on conducting activities that would further enhance their understanding on the topic. The second activity was to work collaboratively in pairs or groups to create their own media adverts using postermywall.com. This further enhances their communication skills through working collaboratively. They also had a YouTube tutorial to help them to use Poster My Wall. They would then present these back to the class the following week for peer assessment and evaluation. Again, the teacher would be able to assess the student's level of understanding for this task. The final activity was to analyse a television perfume advertisement. This was done using Edpuzzle, and is another form of this ongoing assessment that allows students to continually develop their critical thinking skills for analysing media. All activities were created to ensure inclusivity of all learners. Even if they were not present in class, this platform allows them to access the content at home or even on the move using their own portable technology devices. I like that the students had engagement with each other as well as the teacher. They would be able to send posts and messages to one another as you would do using a social networking site. And it's great that it provides that link between learning and social media. Edmodo is extremely focused around the student and gives them this freedom to engage, participate and express themselves in new ways. It also provides further development of students' problem-solving skills and digital literacy skills, which are particularly important for students being assessed for their Skills Challenge Certificate within the Welsh Bachelorette, which are key skills for progression onto further education and employment opportunities. I conducted an evaluation questionnaire on the Edmodo Learning Resource using SurveyMonkey. Here you can see that the responses were predominantly positive. Users found it was accessible to all learners. It allowed students to communicate effectively with their peers and teachers. It was very innovative, supported collaborative learning, and enhances learners' knowledge on the topics studied. It also develops their digital literacy skills, supports learners of all levels of ability, and the majority agreed that it allows for assessment to be ongoing. However, some had difficulties getting access to sign up to Edmodo. Others felt they would need prior learning to use the different technologies required, and one user felt the quiz activity limited learners' development of subject knowledge because they could use the PowerPoint to assist with answers. My SMART targets would be to ensure that the resource is accessible to all learners, so that every student is able to log in without any difficulty, has an awareness of how to use the technology required for activities and assignments set, and that each student can access Edmodo using either a computer, tablet or smartphone. Planning each activity was very time consuming to create, so these would need to be done in advance, through careful planning and preparation. Embedding other online technologies and quizzes like Quizlet or Kahoot for purposes of assessment and reinforcement of learning. As the quiz on Edmodo is great for assessment, it would be good to compare it to other online quizzes to compare the levels of engagement, motivation and participation from students. Thank you for watching.